Hello, my name is Corey Chilton and I'm a member of the Access Control product team here at Verkada. In this video, I'll walk you through how to install Verkada's cylindrical wireless lock, the AL54-CY. Inside your AL54-CY box, you'll find the interior and exterior assemblies, their mounting plates, and 5 smaller boxes, each containing specific components for installation. Box 1 includes the lock mechanism and fixed plate. Box 2 contains 2 latch options, one for a 2 3/4 inch back set and one for a 2 3/8 inch back set, ensuring compatibility with different door setups. Box 3 includes 2 strike plates for you to choose from. Box 4 contains several essential tools and components. The lever removal tool, which is helpful for removing the AL54-CY lever or an existing one, all mounting screws required for assembly, the lock connector cable, 8 L91 AA batteries, the DPI, and a T10 security Torx screwdriver. Box 5 contains the interior rose liner, interior lever, exterior rose liner, exterior lever, and a temporary plastic key core, which you can use until your permanent cores are ready to install. Also, inside of the box you will find 6 door templates, one for each combination of backset and thickness. Grab the template appropriate for your door and wrap it around the door as you can see here, ensuring that the borehole on the template is aligned with the cylindrical borehole on the door that's likely already there. Next, drill each of the pilot holes that is marked on the template. Then, take the template off the door and drill each of the holes all the way through using the appropriate size drill bit. I recommend drilling halfway through from each side to end up with the most clean door finish possible. Also inside of the box, you will find a frame template. Attach this frame template to the frame with a piece of tape, ensuring that this black line aligns with the top of the door template on the door. Then, drill each of the pilot holes on the template. Note that for the DPIs, you will only need to drill one of these 2 holes, depending on the material of the door. Same thing goes for the strike plates. You'll only need to drill one of these 2 sets of holes, depending on the size of your strike plate. Note that these holes are likely already there from the strike plate that was previously on the door frame. Select the strike plate that fits your frame and screw it in. Then, insert the frame DPI. Insert the DPI into the door, routing the cable to the interior side of the door. Select the correct latch based on your door's backset. Insert the latch into the latch hole and screw in the 2 latch screws halfway. Your latch should extend into the borehole this much, indicating that you've selected the correct latch. Next, grab the lock mechanism from the box and insert it into the cylindrical borehole in the door from the exterior side. Ensure you have this gap facing the latch. Note that you want this cable coming through the door, and you also want the gap in the lock mechanism engaged with the tail of the latch. You can then turn the interior of the lock mechanism to ensure that the latch is engaged. Grab the fixed plate and thread it onto the exterior of the lock body, making sure that you have these tabs facing away from the door. Rotate it until the fixed plate touches the door and you have these 4 holes vertical. Then give it one more full rotation, ending with those 4 holes in a vertical line. Now tighten the 2 latch screws fully. Now for the exterior installation. Grab the exterior rose liner and orient it such that the white arrow is pointing towards the edge of the door. Then, grab your exterior module and place the exterior rose liner into the exterior module. Next, grab your exterior mount plate, thread the cable from the exterior module through the mount plate, and then screw on these 6 screws using the provided T10 Torx screwdriver. Now we are going to place the exterior module on the door. First, ensure that you still have these 4 holes vertical on the fixed plate, and additionally, ensure that this notch on the lock mechanism is also vertical. Slide the exterior module onto the door, routing the reader cable through the appropriate hole, and then ensuring that these 2 standoffs go through their appropriate holes. Next, grab the interior mount plate and place it on the interior side of the door. Route the reader and DPI cables through the labeled hole, and route the lock cable through the rectangular hole furthest from the edge of the door. Finally, make sure the lock mechanism goes through the middle hole. Once you have that on the door, grab your number 1 and number 2 screws and place them into their respective holes and hand tighten with a Phillips head 2 screwdriver. Press the latch to confirm smooth movement. If it's sticky, slightly loosen the number 1 and number 2 screws. Grab your interior rose liner and place it over the lock body on the interior side of the door. Ensure that this arrow is pointing towards the edge of the door. Then, make sure that the lock cable has this little rubber grommet that should go into one of the notches on the interior rose liner, just like so. Then grab your number 3 screws and insert them into the 2 number 3 holes and hand tighten with your screwdriver. Try engaging the latch by twisting the interior rose liner to ensure that it engages smoothly. If the latch does not engage smoothly and sticks, try loosening the number 3 screws slightly or loosening the number 1 and number 2 screws slightly. As a last resort, ensure that the fixed plate was installed properly, 1 rotation past flush. Connect the lock connector cable by plugging it into the connectors from the interior rose liner and the lock mechanism connector. Take the interior module and remove the battery cover by loosening the 2 screws on top using your T10 Torx screwdriver. Then take off the cover by lifting up and out. Then plug each of the cables into its designated port on the interior module, including the DPI, reader, and lock cables, routing the cables through the rubber grommet. As you're routing these through the grommets, start to push the interior module onto the door, having the interior rose liner coming through the hole on the interior module, and ensuring that these 2 top standoffs align with the holes on the back of the module. Be careful not to pinch any of the cables as you put this on. Ensure the interior assembly sits flush with the door. If it's not flush, there may be a cable trapped between the module and the door. Tighten these 4 captive screws using your Phillips head screwdriver, and tighten the 2 captive screws on the bottom using the included T10 Torx screwdriver. Then place your 8 batteries into the lock and put the battery cover back on. Install the 8 AA batteries. As you are installing these batteries, the LEDs on the device should start to power on, indicating that the device was assembled properly. Additionally, look here to get the serial number of the device, which you can use to commission the AL54 within Verkada Command. Attach the interior handle by pushing it onto the interior rose liner until you hear a click. Then, test the handle to ensure that the latch retracts smoothly. Install the battery cover by pushing forward, then down on the interior module. Then tighten these 2 screws on the top using the T10 Torx screwdriver. Now it is time to install your key core. Note that the lock will not ship with the key core, so either use your existing core or work with a locksmith to get a new one. Depending on which key core you're using, FSIC, SFIC, or conventional core, skip ahead to the corresponding section. If you're using a conventional core, first insert your core into the back of the lever, like so. Then, place the provided plastic key core stopper into the back of the lever, just like this. Look into the exterior rose liner and you will see an hourglass-shaped hole. Make note of the orientation of that hole. Take your exterior handle and place your key into the conventional core. Rotate your key so that the tailpiece is 45 degrees, but will still fit into that hourglass-shaped hole. Then push your exterior handle onto the door until it clicks into place. Make sure that the teeth of your key are facing away from the edge of the door. You can now test that you are able to retract the latch using that key. If you are using an SFIC, small format interchangeable core, first ensure these 2 pins inside of the exterior rose liner are rotated 45 degrees from vertical using the T10 screwdriver to rotate the pins. Then push on the exterior handle. Next, using the T10 Torx screwdriver, rotate these pins back to vertical. Then insert the control key into your SFIC, rotate the key to retract the holding bar, and insert the core into the handle. Then rotate the control key back to neutral and remove. If you are using an FSIC full-sized interchangeable core, first grab your exterior handle and push it onto your exterior rose liner. Then grab your FSIC, insert the control key, and rotate it to retract the holding pin and insert it into the handle. Then remove the control key. And with that, you've successfully installed the AL54-CY. For more information, go to docs.verkada.com, and thanks so much for watching.